You know that feeling when you finally poop after being constipated for days? That moment where your whole body just lets go. Your belly deflates, your brain clears, and you think, why does this feel so good? Now imagine your body has been trying to get that relief for weeks, months, even years, and failing. That's what chronic constipation really is. In this video, I am going to show you why pooping feels so good, why it feels so awful when you can't, and what hidden messages your chronic constipation has been screaming at you before you regret ignoring it. Hi, I am Bimal. I have had lifelong GI issues and some brutal phases of constipation. I have lived both extremes. The oh my god, finally relief after being backed up for days, and the bloating, bleeding, and bathroom anxiety that makes you feel like your body is turning against you. That personal mess is a big reason I am building Gutsphere, a GI health copilot, and why I spend more time thinking about poop and transit time than any normal human should. In this video, I am going to use one of my favorite mental models. Everything is a machine. Everything is cause and effect. There are short-term cycles, long-term cycles, compounding, and power laws. We will use that lens to understand why a good poop feels insanely good, why being backed up feels so awful, and what your chronic constipation is secretly telling you about the way your body machine is designed. If you are someone who shrugs and says, I've always been constipated, that's just how I am, this is your wake-up call. If you want to understand something important, see it as a machine. So let's treat your body like a machine or a factory. It takes in inputs, food, water, medications, stress, emotions. It processes those, digestion, absorption, metabolism, and it produces outputs, energy, heat, and poop. Poop is not just gross stuff that has to leave. Poop is a report card. It's your machine printing out a daily status report. If you obsess over what you eat but never pay attention to what comes out, it's like reading a company's revenue and ignoring all the expenses. You are missing half of reality. And here is where it gets serious. Chronic constipation doesn't just mean the report is a bit off. It means the report has been screaming at you for a while, and your body doesn't scream in a neat, linear way. We like to think, I have been constipated for a few years. It's annoying, but that's it. Line goes up slowly, no big deal. But your body behaves much more like compounding and power laws. Small amounts of strain, pressure, and stagnation repeated every day don't just add up. They stack on each other. And most of the real damage over a lifetime doesn't come from one bad poop. It comes from a small number of extreme episodes at the tail end. Fissures, prolapse, hospital visits, surgeries, cancers. That's a power law. A small number of events, a small number of people carry a huge share of the pain and cost. So chronic constipation is not just a bit uncomfortable. It's a machine quietly building compounding risk in the background. Your poop is your body's daily status report. Chronic constipation is that report flashing red over and over while you tell yourself it's probably fine. Let's answer the first part of title. Why does pooping feel so good? Forget politeness for a moment. Let's talk mechanics. Stool moves down into your rectum. The rectum stretches. Stretch receptors fire signals up to your brain. We have got cargo, time to go. You feel fullness, pressure, maybe urgency. You go to the toilet, relax your pelvic floor and anal sphincter, and the stool passes. When that happens, the rectum empties, the stretch disappears, pressure drops sharply. Your nervous system experiences that sudden drop, high pressure to low pressure, as relief and often pleasure. It's the same mechanism as scratching a persistent itch, finally paying a bill that's been haunting you, clearing a backlog of messages and hitting zero inbox. Your brain loves closed loops. It hates unresolved tension. There is also a nervous system shift. Before you go, your body is a bit more on the edge. When you poop, you shift more into rest and digest mode. Muscles relax, your heart rate may ease, you might feel calmer or even sleepy. And because your gut is deeply wired with your brain and involved with neurotransmitters like serotonin, the job done signal can show up as lightness, satisfaction, calm. So the good poop feeling is not random. It's your nervous system saying, we have completed a crucial cycle. Thank you for not ignoring me. Remember that complete cycle feeling, because constipation is exactly that same cycle getting stuck halfway over and over again. Now, the other half of the title: why does it feel so awful when you can't? If you are chronically constipated, you know this is not just no poop day. It's bloating and tightness, abdominal pressure and heaviness, cramps, stabbing, pains, maybe back pain, feeling painfully full after small meals, nausea, low appetite, brain fog. Mechanically, here's what's going on. Stool stays in the colon too long. The colon keeps pulling out water. Stool becomes hard, dry, dense. Gas builds up behind it. The intestinal wall stretch, strain, and struggle to push it forward. The body is trying to complete the poop cycle and failing. The urge comes, you sit, you push, nothing or almost nothing happens. The loop stays open. There is no job done signal, just more pressure. Your nervous system hates open loops. It's like holding a heavy suitcase all day and never putting it down. And then there is the psychological side. You start dreading going to the bathroom. You fear pain, tearing, seeing blood. You feel embarrassed that you can't even poop like a normal person. You might avoid going even when you feel the urge, which makes things worse. So, constipation hits you twice: physical misery and psychological misery. And here is the compounding part again. Every episode of holding it, straining like you are lifting a barbell, letting stool sit for days, is a tiny micro withdrawal from the health of your pelvic floor, rectum, and colon. One day doesn't break you, but hundreds and thousands of those repetitions over years, that's negative compounding. The kind that quietly builds structural problems while you try to function. Constipation feels awful not just because nothing comes out today. It feels awful because your machine is stuck in incomplete cycles, and each incomplete cycle is a tiny compounding injury. Now we get to the core of the title. What hidden secrets is your chronic constipation telling you? Chronic constipation is rarely just bad luck. It's your body sending at least four big messages. And this is where power laws matter. Not everyone with constipation ends up with severe disease, surgery, or terrifying diagnosis. Most people will suffer but stay in annoying but manageable zone. But if you zoom out, a small percentage of people, especially those who ignore constipation for years or have some genetic and environmental bad luck, end up with a huge share of the suffering and cost. That's a power law of suffering. Many people with mild pain, or smaller group with disproportionate life-altering pain. You can't fully control which tail of the curve you were born into, but you can absolutely influence whether you keep feeding that bad tail or move yourself toward the safer one. Let's look at the four messages. Secret 1. your daily design isn't working. Sometimes constipation is your body saying the way you live your day is not compatible with smooth. This can mean low fiber or the wrong mix of fiber for your body, not enough water, sitting most of the day, very little movement, always holding it in because meetings, commuting, kids, work. This is not about blaming yourself. It's the scary part is these tiny design choices don't punish you at all at once. They punish you like interest on a credit card. A little constipation today, a little extra strain tomorrow, a little more stool staying behind this week. One day is nothing. 5 years is everything. Your gut is saying the daily blueprint you have designed is creating negative compounding. Change the design, change the curve. Secret 2. Stress is hijacking the wiring. Your gut and brain are deeply connected. If you are constantly stressed, anxious, or in fight or flight mode, your body prioritizes survival, not digestion. Blood flow and nervous system attention shift away from the gut. Motility can slow, urges can become irregular or weak. So, constipation can be your body saying, I am stuck in survival mode. I don't feel safe enough to run normal maintenance. That's why phases of burnout, relationship, conflict, grief, job, stress, big life changes often show up in your gut. When you see chronic constipation, don't think only fiber, think nervous system as well. Secret trick: the exit mechanics are broken. For some people, the problem isn't just what's inside the colon, it's how the muscles work at the exit. The colon might be doing its job, pushing stool down, but the pelvic floor might not relax. The anal sphincter might tighten instead of opening. This mismatch is called dyssynergia, muscles not working together. You feel the urge, sit, push, still feel blocked or incomplete. In this case, constipation is your body saying it's not just the content, the plumbing mechanics are off. Here, the solution isn't just eat more fiber. It might involve pelvic floor physiotherapy, biofeedback learning, how to coordinate breathing, pelvic floor, and abdominal pressure. If you strain a lot but still feel like you are not empty, this secret might be yours. Secret 4. Something deeper might be going on. Don't ignore forever. Sometimes chronic constipation is the surface symptom of a deeper issue. Medication side effects, thyroid problems, neurological conditions, structural issues in the colon or rectum, other systemic diseases. Here, constipation is saying, I have been nudging you quietly for months or years. Please don't wait until this becomes a full-blown crisis. Red flags that deserve prompt medical attention. Constipation that is a new or dramatically worse, especially later in life. Unexplained weight loss, blood in the stool, severe or worsening pain, and family history of colon disease. Again, this isn't about panicking over every symptom. It's about not pretending chronic constipation is harmless. For most people, things will be miserable but manageable. For a smaller group, the long-term outcome can be disproportionately bad. You reduce your odds of falling into that bad tail by taking the early signals seriously. Let's bring this from theory down to what do I do? You can't control everything, but you can work with some powerful principles. Principle 1. Stop normalizing suffering. If you have been constipated for years, it's easy to say, this is just who I am. But remember, pooping feels good because your machine is designed to complete that cycle. Feeling awful when you can't isn't you being dramatic. It's an alarm. Refuse to treat chronic constipation as just my thing. The very first step is mental. You stop accepting suffering as a identity. Principle 2. Fix the system, not just today's poop. Instead of asking, how do I force a poop today? What is my constipation telling me about my overall system? Then design for positive compounding. Think in small, boring daily moves. A bit more water, every day 10-20 minutes of walking, most days of consistent bathroom window in the morning where you are not rushed. One honest conversation with a clinician this month instead of pushing it for another year. Each decision is tiny by itself, but multiply that over hundred of days, your body feels the compound interest of better design. The same way ignoring constipation compounds negative outcomes, respecting the signal and changing your system compounds positive ones. Principle 3. Respect the urge, build a rhythm. Your gut loves predictability. For many people, the best chance to go is after waking with a warm drink, after breakfast with 5-10 minutes, not starting at your phone, not rushing to a meeting, practice. Actually going when you feel the urge, not holding it for hours because you are too busy. You are teaching your gut. When you send the signal, I will respond. That rebuilds trust in the machine and supports more regular cycles. Principle 4. Get help earlier than you think you deserve to. If constipation is chronic, affects your quality of life, comes with pain, bleeding, or big changes, you are not overreacting by seeking help. That is literally the response your body is asking. Talk to a clinician. Ask honest, specific questions. Sometimes the fix is simple. Sometimes it needs more investigation or intervention. Either way, the worst combination is suffering plus silence. Let's answer the title directly. Why does pooping feel so good? Because your body loves completed cycles. Pressure drops, nerves calm, and your internal mechanics get to say, we did our job. Why does it feel so awful when you can't? Because the cycle is stuck. Pressure builds. Nerves keep fighting. Your brain and gut live in constant tension. Each incomplete cycle is a tiny compounding injury. What is your chronic constipation secretly telling you? That's something in your system, your daily design, your stress, your mechanics, or your underlying health is misaligned and needs attention, not denial. Constipation and gut health don't play out in straight lines. They play out like compounding curves and power laws. Ignoring constipation lets small problems quietly compound into big ones. Respecting the signals and changing your daily system lets small habits quietly compound into resilience. You don't have to fix everything this week. You just have to stop feeding the wrong curve and start feeding the right one. So here is my challenge to you. What is one change you will make this week so your body can finish this cycle more often? Will you drink more water, walk every day, protect morning bathroom window? Finally, book that appointment. If you want tools and structure to help with this, that's exactly what I'm building with Gutsphere, a GI health co-pilot to help you become the pilot of your own gut health instead of a passenger inside constipated machine. If this video gave you a new way to think about constipation, like the video so more people stop normalizing their suffering. Subscribe for deeper system level videos on gut health and share this with the friend who always jokes about being constipated but might actually be quietly struggling. That good poop feeling is not a luxury. That's your baseline. Listen when it feels good and especially when it doesn't.